Up, guys? Good morning. It is a glorious day if you love college basketball. No football. Hasn't had, I guess we haven't had football since August, which, man, where are we at? February now? February 1st. There's a million great basketball games today. Like, it is an elite amount of excellent matchups, excellent storylines. There's two games I love, like, really, really, really like. And then there's a handful of other games I have opinions on. I'm going to put the two games out that I absolutely love because I don't want to list 12 games here. But yeah, these games are wow. It starts. So the first game I like. This is what we'll do. We'll go through the two games that I really like, and then I'll just kind of mention some of these other games, and then I got a quick little rant at the end, and then get out of here because this Florida Tennessee game starts at noon. And I got a couple things to do before I watch this one. Florida, I love Florida today. So Florida's getting 5 points at Tennessee. Okay, so first let me explain why Tennessee's favored by five and why it feels like a lot of the, at least a lot of the people that I trust in college basketball like Tennessee today. It's because Florida beat them by 30, what was it, like 3 weeks ago in Florida, absolutely destroyed them. And Tennessee's now lost two in a row. So you combine all that, it feels like a revenge spot. Plus, Tennessee's considered to be, maybe a better roster than Florida to begin with. They're home, blah, 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 blah. It all kind of feeds right into it. But when I look at the X's and O's in the backcourt, I just cannot get away from Florida. I can't get away from the way they run their offense. It is, I just love it. I think 5 points. It just feels like a 50-50 game. Maybe Tennessee beats them, but I would not be surprised if Florida wins this game. Richard and Clayton in the backcourt for Florida is just elite, elite, elite. Rick Barnes makes me nervous as the coach down the stretch for Tennessee, whereas Florida's coach he's just always on it. I really like Florida in this spot. Yeah, so Florida's getting five. They're at Tennessee. That game's at noon. And then the other game, I can't believe the spread's 11 points. All the way down in Kentucky tonight. I think this game's all at 9 o'clock. Arkansas is getting 11 points. So Calipari gets to go back to Kentucky. There's like so many different things factoring into this. I would bet the Arkansas game like now. I can't imagine this doesn't go down because it just feels like a way inflated spread. If you look at some of the numbers, Arkansas on the road, I know they're not very good. They lost a really tough game. I had them against Oklahoma, and their offense in the half court just absolutely sucks. It really does. It's not a good offense at all. But the reason why they're going to hang with Kentucky, I think it's 50-50 game. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually beat Kentucky tonight, is because they're so much more athletic than Kentucky. Like Calipari has the perfect team to go back to Kentucky to win because he's got the rebounding and the athletic advantage. And I watched Georgia beat Kentucky with pretty much the same kind of formula. It's like a beat 'em up style inside. Kentucky's point guard's not going to play, which I think is going to factor into the spread going down. Lamont Butler. Arkansas did lose their point guard a few weeks ago, which is why I probably shouldn't have taken them against Oklahoma just because I underestimated what's his name, Boogie Flag, something like that. But anyway, he's really good, and then the offense stalled without him. So that's why the number's probably 11, but it just feels like Kentucky's offense is going to have to play in the trenches and just get beat up a little bit. Their offense has been really efficient this year against certain teams. But like I said, Georgia beat them up. 11 points is way too many. Plus, Calipari gets to go back to Kentucky, and they need the game. Arkansas's 1-6 in the SEC, really struggled this year. In danger of not making the tournament. So this is a huge game for them. Some of the deeper metrics on defense suggest that Arkansas is really, really solid. So yeah, 11 points, too many. A lot of other great games. Kansas is at Baylor. Ole Miss is playing. What's it? They're getting Auburn. Duke's playing Carolina, and Carolina needs that game. I mean, man, Carolina's had a really tough season. That spread's 14.5 while I'm recording right now. I cannot believe that's 14.5. I know Duke plays like elite level defense besides having the annoying, the next annoying, I guess just call it what it is, the high level white guy that just makes all the shots that you just can't stand is they got Cooper Flag. 14 and a half points is an incredible amount of points in a Carolina Duke game that Carolina needs to win. They still have RJ Davis and Cadeau in the backcourt. If anything, I don't know how you can lay the points there with Duke. I would like Carolina there. There's a handful of other really good games. I know I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Arizona's playing Arizona State. That's a really good game. And yeah, so there's a handful of games that if you're watching all day long, you're in for a treat. But my favorite two are Florida, that starts at noon, and then Arkansas tonight. UConn's playing Marquette. That's another one. I can't believe Marquette's favored by 7 points. Like if you said that before the season, but UConn's really struggled. UConn's like 20, well, they're ranked 25th, but probably just because they're UConn, they don't have signature wins this year. It's taken them a long time to get going here on offense, figuring out exactly what they want to do without some of the players they've had from the past couple of years. They don't play great defense. The offense actually isn't really the problem if you look deeper into it. It's the suffocating defense that they've had for the past 2 seasons just isn't there. So if they want to try to get back and do this thing again, they're going to have to figure it out. Feels dangerous to give 7 points there. Same thing, like these big favorites with these blue bloods on the road. I don't know. It feels like they're inviting you to take the blue bloods on the road. I'm going to do it with Arkansas. I probably will do it with North Carolina. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger with UConn. Marquette's really tough at home. Kai Jones is one of my favorite players. That lefty, he's just really good. He's able to beat Maryland earlier this year. So yeah, a lot of great games. But I wanted to draw attention. This Jimmy Butler situation made me think about, your choices in like what you want to consume as far as news is concerned, and whether it's sports or anything else, because you're more than ever, like I say you, like us, right? We're in control of what we want to consume. That's the beauty of the internet, depending on how you want to use it. If you want to be a victim of the algorithm, that's up to you. But if you want to just consume different news, that's totally available. And it made me think, like, because I guess I've been a victim, with this Jimmy Butler nonsense. And if you haven't been following it, like, good for you. But for those of you that have been following it, he's acting like a 7-year-old while getting paid $50 million. It's not even worth going through it all because that's not the point. The point is to find, actually something to be more interesting to talk about that just doesn't get a lot of attention. So for the next 90 seconds, draw attention to there's this rookie on the Grizzlies. His name's Jalen Wells, and his story, ironically, in a lot of ways, mirrors Jimmy Butler's rise, but it's even more dramatic to me, and it's just a great life lesson in athletics, especially if you have a kid who thinks he's good enough to be, an athlete one day. So his story is not good enough to get recruited out of college. So coming out of his senior year in high school, he ends up at Sonoma State, some JUCO school, community college out in Northern California, like near the San Francisco area. In his first year there, he only averaged 12.6 points per game, something like that. 12 points per game. Numbers just not great. 71% from the free throw line jumped out at me. And then his sophomore year, still there, right? Like obviously he's not going to get recruited based on a year like that at a small little school that nobody's paying attention to. But his second year, he jumped to 22 points per game. Everything like just jumped up. And his free throw percentage, I always look at free throw percentage with young athletes because it says a lot. But anyway, so he jumps up 22 points per game, gets the attention of Washington State's coach, and boom, goes Washington State for 1 year. And Washington State wasn't good last year. They lost in the NIT to, I don't even remember, but they were at home. They lost in the NIT in the first round. And he started for them. Wasn't like great by any means, but for whatever reason, I guess a lot of reasons, right? The scouting report suggested, hey, maybe he can get drafted. So he goes to the draft, 39th pick in the draft by the Grizzlies. He's played in every single game. So you can find NBA players playing every single game. First of all, that's like breaking news. He played in every single game. He started 43 out of the 48 games. I think he's getting 16 points a game. Is the best defender in the Western Conference. At least it would be on the whatchamacallit, all defensive first team in the Western Conference. I've seen him what's it? Edwards, Booker, Curry. Go look at some of the numbers when they go against him. He's like 6'8", 6'9", wing, and his contract is 4 years, $7.89 million. And it's guys like that that make it, easy to root for sports. As soon as you have situations where you're consuming that this guy's making 50 some $1 million and complaining, and you let those news stories come into your orbit, then it really makes you hate sports. Like you become jealous or envious of professional sports, and it just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. And that's happened to me really with the Orioles over the offseason, where I've allowed how much money we're spending to kind of infiltrate just being a fan. And it's like, there's probably better things to focus on. So anyway, Jalen Wells deserves some credit. Pretty cool story. Sonoma State as a freshman getting 12.6 points per game all the way to getting 16 points per game on the Grizzlies, which really good basketball team. Actually, if you want to watch good basketball and stay away from a high pick and roll on every single play, there's a couple teams that are evolving here basketball-wise, and the Grizzlies are doing a really good job. They have a ton of guys in the rotation, great coach, and John Morant, maybe he's a positive story at the end because knucklehead central for the past couple of years, but just quiet this year and leading the team. He's played in 28, I believe, out of the 48 games as he comes back from an injury. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Good luck on the games today. I got Arkansas and I got Florida. SEC basketball is just dominating. Michigan State's playing USC. I know I probably forgot another 4 or 5 games. Texas Tech's playing Houston, I think. Houston's great on defense. Houston's another great team to watch. But all right, good luck, whatever you're going to do. See you guys in the morning. I'll start my Chiefs-Eagles. Yeah, not excited, but whatever. We'll start tomorrow. See ya.